let's start in a comfortable position. And so that doesn't mean that your legs need to be crossed. And especially if you have low back pain, I strongly suggest that you don't cross your legs, that you might sit with your feet, like in Baddha Konasana, with the bottoms of your feet connected and the knees open out so that you're asymmetrical. And if you do cross your legs regularly, that you switch how you cross them, because that can definitely be aggravating to the hips and the low back. And so just coming into that comfortable place and connecting to your breath, you might put your hands on your body, whatever feels good as you settle in, and noticing how your body feels. Long, smooth, easy breaths. And asking yourself, like noticing how you feel, asking yourself how you want to feel by the end of the practice. And then setting your intention, bowing the head to the heart, heart to the earth. And I invite you today to move with your breath. So I know some of you are dealing with low back pain. So if that happens, I want you to listen to your body and move in a way that feels nourishing. So I don't want you to just force yourself to move through the pain. So let's start with our legs stretched out. And if you like a little blanket under your bottom, you can do that. And what I want you to do is just start to inhale up, exhale, body forward, and just moving a little bit. So your legs are stretched out, you're symmetrical, and you're just moving with your breath front to back. And noticing how that feels. And then we're gonna take the feet onto the floor and bend the knees and do that same movement. And notice if your body will move a little bit more forward with the legs bent or not. No right or wrong here. But continuing to move with the breath. And then I want you to bring your legs into a comfortable position. So they could be stretched out, they could be with the bottoms of your feet together. We're going to work with the upper body for a moment. So I want you to look at your right hand. It's stretched out in front of you, and you're going to inhale, reach up, and exhale, come back to your leg. We're going to stay on the same side. And as you're doing this, right, you're moving slowly with your breath, and you're noticing how it feels in your whole back body and everything else, right? And we're going to do it one more time. And you're not going too far, you're going to a place that feels good. And we're going to pause for a moment, notice how you feel, and then we'll do the second side. Inhaling up, exhaling down. And as I said, with everything that we do today, any discomfort, I want you to stop. So please make sure that you're muted so that you don't show up on my recording. And one more time. And we'll come back to the center. And now I just want you to roll through those shoulders. Inhaling up, exhaling back. Now, I want you to have, again, your legs in a comfortable place. What we're going to do is you're going to take your right hand onto your left leg and just very gently start to move the chest. So now the movement, you're going to inhale as you reach around to the side, exhale, come back to the center. We're staying on the same side. Teeny, tiny movements. In fact, I'm making my movement a little bit bigger so that you can actually see it. But this could be a teeny tiny movement. And you're noticing what's happening in the pelvis, in your rib cage, in your breath, all of your body as you're moving. One more time. And then we'll come back to the center, pause for a moment, and take the other side. So again, inhale, reach your chest slightly over to the right, exhale back to the center. So we're coming into this because I want you to be very aware.
I'm trying to hook up.
I'm going to mute you.
Just a second.
I don't even know who that is because they're not showing up. Okay, so we're going to continue on. Now, I want you to, again, pause for a second. And we're going to make our way onto our back. So I want you to think about how you're going to do this carefully, right? So you might bend your knees. You might roll to the side and bring your body down. Some of you might come into it more quickly. And you're going to find yourself on your back body with your knees bent, arms at your side. You could have your eyes closed. And we're just going to tilt through the pelvis. Tilting through the pelvis, continuing to breathe and noticing what you notice. And then pausing again, and now we're going to move side to side. So you're just tilting your pelvis side to side. And remember, tiny movements, side to side, checking in with your pelvis as you're moving, with your breath. And then, again, pausing, we're going to bring the right knee in towards your chest. You're just going to hold it for a moment and point and flex your foot, roll through your ankle. And then we're going to place that foot gently on the ground and bring your second knee in. And again, just holding on to that knee, and we're pointing and flexing the foot and rolling through the ankle. And you're noticing what's happening in your body as you move. Now this time, instead of placing that foot on the floor, we're going to bring the other knee up. So now you have both knees coming towards your body. You might be holding on to the front of the knees, and you're just going to very slowly with your breath, inhale, knees away, exhale, bring those knees in towards the chest. And one of the things about low back pain is you want to move slowly, you want to pay attention to your breath and how your body feels, and you don't want to do too much, right? I think that's the mistake. Like, you want to do something, right? You want to move, but you don't want to move too much. Now, after your last exhale, we're going to carefully take the feet to the ground one at a time. And now we're going to have our ankles and knees touching. And I just want you to, your arms are someplace at your sides or on your body. And you're going to inhale, center, and exhale. Move your knees over to the side, maybe 2 to 3 inches. And then inhale back to the center and do the second side. We're not moving the head. We're just moving the knees a little bit side to side. And you're noticing again what happens in the low back as you do. Inhaling center, exhaling, moving to the side. And only if it feels really amazingly good will you start to deepen how far the knees come towards the ground. Inhaling center, exhaling to the side. So again, eventually we're going to come to a place where we pause, and you're going to walk the feet apart. So maybe they're 4 to 6 inches apart, just a little bit apart, and we're going to do that same movement. Inhaling center, exhaling, moving the knees. Trying to move them evenly and slowly, and only to a place that feels amazingly good. And I'm not sure why those words are sticking with me today, but that's what's coming out. And again, if it feels good and you want to move a little bit more deeply, you can. And remember, right now we're just focusing on the lower part of the body. I might turn my head to talk to you, but I want you to keep your head straight as we're doing this. And again, we're going to come to a place that we pause. And this time you're going to bring your right leg in and we're going to bend and straighten that leg. So the inhale is when the leg is up. Exhale, you're going to bring that knee in towards your chest. And remember, we're not going for depth here. We're going for gentle movements that feel good in your body. So inhale away, exhale, come in with the knee. And next time your knee is bent, you can put that foot on the floor. And again, carefully bring in your second leg. And again, inhale, straighten the leg. Exhale, bring that knee in. All right. So again, next time that knee is bent, you're going to put that foot on the floor. And then if you have a block, I want you to take it and place it between your knees. And if you don't have a block, you can use a folded towel or a blanket, something that helps you to press your knees in towards the center. So now the movement is going to be inhale, you're going to press your feet into the ground, press your knees together, relax the head and shoulders on the ground, and you're going to lift up that pelvis just a little bit. Exhale, bring it down. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, bring the hips back down. Use your feet. Use that resistance of pressing into the center towards the block. And notice, and it's very possible that your low back barely comes off the ground. It might be just that engagement of the knees and the feet on the floor, and you might not even lift your hips up off the ground. Again, we're not going for height. We're going for moving our muscles, engaging our muscles, and breathing. And of course, not having or intensifying any pain that we have. Now, next time that you come down, we're gonna, again, pause for a moment and we're gonna take that block out. And then I want you to place your hands onto your chest. We're gonna start there, and as you breathe in, I want you to feel your breath in your hands. I want you to feel the movement in your chest, in your body. And then once you feel that connection with your breath in your hands, I want you to take one hand and place it on the lower part of the body, so below your navel, if possible. And again, breathing and connecting with your hands. So we want to invite all of us, all of our body, our breath, and our core into this practice. And it also gives us a moment to rest the body after the movements that we did. So again, we're going to come to a place where we pause and we're going to roll over to the side, and you're going to use your hands to help you come up. And you're going to notice how you're feeling. And if it works for your body, you're going to come up to standing. And if you have a tennis ball, you're going to grab it. We're going to roll through your feet. So here we are, we're standing up, and you're going to roll one foot on your tennis ball. Hopefully you can hear my little lovely wind chimes in the background. Now, if by chance you don't want to stand up or it feels better to sit in a chair, you can absolutely do this same rolling the foot in a chair or while you're on the ground. Finding some interesting things in my feet today. I don't know about all of you. All right. So even though we could do this for a long time and it would feel really good, we're going to place that tennis ball off to the side. And you're going to come to a comfortable place where you're standing. Bring those hands on your thighs. And what I want you to do is to, again, connect with your breath. And inhale is going to be up. Exhale, you're going to slide down just a little bit. So you're going to inhale up and exhale, just slide down. You're keeping everything symmetrical, your feet, your hips, your hands, your shoulders. Just like we did when we were sitting down, you're inhaling up, exhaling forward. And only if it sounds really inviting are you going to slide down. But let's not go further than our knees for now, right? Inhaling up, exhaling forward. No rush, lots of observation. And then again, only if it sounds good for you today are you going to come below the knees. And then if you do come below your knees, when you come up, I only want you to come up as high as your knees, right? So you're either going like from your ankles to your shins or from your knees to your thighs. You choose which position feels better for you today. And then on the next inhale, let's all meet in a standing position. Noticing how you feel, you might roll through those shoulders once again, inhaling the shoulders up, exhaling, sliding them down the back body, checking in. Now, again, we're going to move slowly with our breath, and I know that you can go higher than what I'm going to suggest, so I want you to think about the possibility of not going further, right? So you're going to inhale and start to lift your hands away from your body, forward. Inhale up, exhale down. And only when it feels right for you are you going to come up a little bit higher. And the whole time you're feeling your feet on the ground, you're feeling your breath move with your movements. And for now, let's not go higher than our shoulders, right? Inhaling up, exhaling down. And the next time your arms are at your sides, we're going to do the same thing with the arms out to the sides. So you're going to inhale those arms a little bit away from your body and bring them back in. And again, these movements that we're doing now, all of that, what we're doing could be done laying on the floor or sitting in a chair. And again, we're not going to go higher than the shoulders. You're just breathing as you move, noticing how you feel. And one more time, we'll relax those arms to the sides. Now we're going to come up onto the toes. And again, you're going to bring those arms forward in a way, not going higher than your shoulders. So the inhale, you come up onto the toes if you're standing and bring the arms down. And if you're not standing, you do this just with the arms. And next time the arms come down, we're going to do the same thing with the arms out to the sides, inhaling away from the body, not going higher than the shoulders. Noticing again how that body feels as you're moving. Now our final movement that we're going to do in the same way is we're going to take one arm forward, one arm back. And so you might do that movement first, just with your feet flat on the ground, with your vision forward. Inhaling, one arm forward, one arm back, coming back to the center. And then if it feels inviting and safe, you'll come up onto the toes. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Now, again, we're going to pause, and I want you to find a stance where your feet are wide and parallel. So your feet are parallel, your legs are spread apart, but again, you're checking in with that low back, right? Does this work for you? And if you're laying on the ground, you can spread your legs in the same way, okay? And you might choose to have a block in front of you on the floor or not. You're gonna see what works. And we're gonna start standing up, and inhale as you slide down, exhale, come back to the center. Inhale, slide down, exhale, come up. And I know that we do a lot of these movements often, and today I want you to be maybe a little bit more reflective and noticing the sensation in your body as we're moving, to see which movements really feel good and support your body. And again, we're going to come to a place where we pause. Now, this one, again, I want you to pay close attention to what's happening in your body, and to remember, whenever we're standing like this, you're isometrically pulling your feet in towards the center so that you engage your inner thighs, so that they're doing some of the work too, right? So your feet and your legs are engaged. We're going to take that right hand and place it on the outside of your left hip. And if that doesn't work, it could be on your belly. And again, you're going to inhale up and exhale just a little bit forward. Now, of course, if you're in a place where this is really easy for your body and there's no pain, you could slide all the way down. But if you have any sort of pain, I just want teeny tiny movements, right? You're making these choices for yourself. And in a chair, I could pull a chair out and show you. Same sort of movement. Even if you're laying down, you can do this same movement. We're going to switch sides. I did it before I said it. Inhaling up, exhaling forward. Teeny tiny movements. And again, we'll come to a place where we're in the center. Now, I'm going to turn to the side so that you can see what I'm doing. But again, your feet are still wide and parallel, and you might even have one hand on the front of your body or the back of the body. If you're sitting in a chair, you're coming towards the edge. And you're going to start to inhale up, exhale, bring your body forward, but you're letting the whole body and head move as one. So you're really using your core here, right? Your hands can be on your hips. Sometimes I do like to hold the front and back of my body so it reminds my body to stay engaged. And you're still using those legs. So even though it looks like a simple movement, there's a lot of work happening here. Now, again, if you're in a place where it feels good to come forward more, you can, but I don't want you to drop your head forward. That's not what we're doing here. You're moving as a whole. And next time you come up, we're going to step those feet together. And again, shake out your arms, roll through your shoulders. Notice how your body's feeling. All right. So I'm hoping that all of you are feeling fairly good as we're here. And we're going to come towards the front of your mat now. And if you're on the chair, stay on your chair. And again, now we're going to deepen a little bit if it works for your body. You're going to inhale, body up, exhale, Come forward as far as it feels comfortable, and then come all the way up. So we're just deepening that movement. And then one of these times, if it works for your body, you're gonna come down onto the blocks and we're gonna step back a little bit. If you're on the chair, I want you to take your right thigh and put it on the chair and extend your left leg back so that the support is under the thigh. And then I want you to just bend and flex. Bend and no. Reach your back heel towards the ground. We're just moving through the foot here. Just moving through the foot. Your front knee stays bent over your ankle. And you're reaching that back heel towards the ground. And then possibly you're going to take that back heel onto the ground. Bring your hands up onto your thigh and come up into kind of a warrior one position with your legs. And if you're on the chair, you have the support under that front thigh. Now the movement is going to be body up and down. And you're only going to come up with your body as far as it feels good. So your feet are stable on the ground, hip width apart, and you're lifting your body up and down with your breath. Inhale, body up. Exhale, body forward. Just a little bit here. Now, next time your body comes forward, you're going to come towards the ground, step that back foot forward. If you're on the chair, you're going to switch legs. And we're going to take your front foot back. And again, just start to reach that back heel towards the ground. So you're coming up onto the toes and then reaching the heel towards the ground. And you're breathing. So one more time, we're going to pivot that back heel towards the ground. And you're going to use your hands up onto your thigh and start to lift your body. And again, we're going to inhale, body up, exhale towards that thigh. Moving with your breath, making sure you feel safe and stable. You're using your muscles, paying attention to all the feels in your body. And when your body is forward this time, you'll take your hands down towards the blocks of the floor, step that back foot forward. One more time, bring those hands onto the legs and come on up. And for our balance today, what I want you to do is just have your feet about hip width apart. I'm going to turn to the side so that you can see what I'm doing. And I just want you to bring that leg front to back, one leg front to back. And you're coming as high as it feels comfortable and you're still breathing. You're paying attention to what's happening in your hip as you move. You could be holding on to a wall or a chair. And you're just moving and breathing. We're going to bring that foot to the ground and then take your second side and just, start off really small, exploring and seeing if that leg wants to move further. And then our final thing, standing up today, is again holding on to the chair or the wall. We're going to take our weight into one foot and bring the other leg out to the side and back. So for low back and hip pain, this can enhance that. So again, use the wall or a chair for support and only move in a way like it might be a teeny tiny movement just to start to get some movement in that leg. Second side. And I fibbed. We're going to do one more. Okay. So again, you're going and you're only doing it if it works for you, right? You're going to bring your knee up and just start to move that knee a little bit out to the side and back. No rush. Exploring. And then we're going to take that foot down, second side. Finding your balance, finding your breath, only moving that knee and leg in a way that feels really good. All right. So hopefully everybody's doing okay. We're going to pause for a moment and we're going to come down onto our bellies. So if you find that your hips poke into the floor, feel free to put a blanket underneath you and you're going to safely get yourself down onto your belly. And once you're down on the ground, you can relax your forehead onto your arms, wiggle your hips a little bit, kind of check in and see how your body's doing. And I'll probably stay up so that I can look towards you, but you can keep your forehead on your forearms. And what I want you to do is just bend one leg at a time. So, and flex that foot, and you're reaching that heel towards your buttock. Doesn't matter how close it comes. You're just bending and straightening one leg. And then we're going to pause and switch sides, still moving with your breath, bending and straightening the leg, noticing what's happening in your body as you move. Slow, thoughtful movements. And once that foot comes back to the floor, pausing for a moment, and then we're going to bend your right knee and possibly reach back with your hand, your right hand, same side hand. Now, a couple of options here. You can use a strap if your hand doesn't come to your foot, or you can just keep the leg bent. We're going to pause there for a few breaths so you continue to breathe, and you're either holding on to your foot or your ankle or the strap or nothing. And now we're going to do an exploration, okay? And you're going to see what works for you. You're going to possibly come up onto your left elbow, and you're still holding on to your foot or your strap, or you just have that foot coming towards your buttock. And then we're going to start to press the ankle into the hand and open up your chest a little bit more. Okay. Now, some other options, you could stay on the ground. You know, you're making sure that it feels good in your body. And you're going to keep breathing. And maybe after your next exhale, we're going to release that foot, come down to the center and pause. You might wiggle through your hips again. And in your own time, we're going to bend the left knee. And again, you might just have that foot reaching towards your buttock. You might reach back. You might use a strap. And you're breathing and noticing what's happening in your body. No forcing anything. And then possibly, again, feeling into it, seeing what works for you, you might come up onto that right forearm. And you might start to press the left foot into the hand or the strap, or you might still be resting on the ground. And you're breathing, making sure all of you, inside and out, is on board with what you're doing with your body. And when you feel complete, carefully releasing that foot and coming down to relax for a moment. Maybe wiggling your hips, maybe just relaxing on the ground. And then Let's take one more moment down here. We're going to, in your time, take those hands out from under the head and place them next to the chest, right? So your hands are next to your chest in whatever way works for you. And movements as big or as small as you'd like. We're going to inhale, lift the hands, the head, and the upper chest away from the body. Inhale is up, exhale is down. Very slow, thoughtful movements, noticing what happens in your body. What do you need to use to actually get that head off of the ground? Not using our hands on the floor, just moving with your breath. Now, next time you come down to the floor, you might take your hands back under your forehead. We're going to focus on the legs for a moment. This next one, you're going to inhale, bend your knees, flex your feet, reach your heels up towards your buttocks. Exhale, bring them down to the floor. Moving both legs. And if it doesn't work to use both legs, you can do one at a time. And also, if you're finding this super easy and you want to engage your muscles in a little bit of a different way, you can straighten your legs and lift them up off of the ground. It's more intense for the low back, and if there's any low back pain, I suggest not doing this with straight legs. Inhale, both legs up off the ground, exhale down. One more time in whatever way you're doing it, and then we're going to pause. You're going to notice how you're feeling, and then we're going to put those two movements together. So you're pausing, checking in, making sure you're not doing too much. And then when you're ready, inhale, upper body comes up, hands, and you engage your legs as well. So bending at the knees. Inhale, body up, exhale, body down. One more time, if your body's having it. And then once you are ready, we are going to either press back into a child's pose, and you can keep your arms in front. You could have a block under your head. And if you don't like being on your knees, you're going to carefully get yourself onto your back body and bring your knees in towards your chest. Right, so you're either coming into a child's pose and in some sort of supported way so that your body's really comfortable, or you're going to be on your back body with your knees in towards your chest. And you're breathing and softening, noticing how your body feels. Some of you might like to move from tabletop into child's pose. You're really checking in with how your body wants to move today. And when you feel complete, you're going to get yourself safely onto your back body. And we're going to explore staying here with the legs extended and your arms extended overhead. Now that may not work for everybody, so you might have one arm still down at your side and one arm extended. You're going to see what works for you. And you're going to pause for a moment, and then we're going to walk the feet over to the right side, and then walk your arms and your head and your shoulders over to the right side. So I like to call this banana pose. So your body is in the shape of a banana, but your hips and shoulders are still relaxing on the floor. So I'm going to stand up in case you can't see me laying down. But the way that you're moving is your arms are to one direction, your legs are to the other direction, but your hips and shoulders stay on the floor. Now, if one arm is kind of flapping in the air as you're coming over, you can bring that arm down to your side. And it's a static pose, so we're going to stay here for a number of breaths. So you want to be sure that your body's comfortable in this position. So you're laying down, your feet and arms are in the same direction. You're relaxed and you're breathing, your eyes are closed. Now we're going to explore something. You're just going to see it may or may not work for your body. I want you to think about the possibility of taking, if we're leaning over to the right side, your left leg's on the outside, I want you to explore crossing that left ankle over the top of the right. And again, if you start to do it, doesn't feel good, put it back on the floor. And remember, your banana is as curved as your body wants to be. You're still breathing. Now we're going to carefully uncross that leg, come back to the center, and then we're going to move to the second side. So you're going to walk your feet and your arms over to the left, again, making sure your hips and shoulders are on the ground. If that outside arm is up in the air, you're going to bring it down to the side. And you're just going to pause. So remember, now we're over to the second side, still making the shape of a banana, but in the other direction. And you're just breathing and relaxing, letting yourself be supported by the floor. And then we're going to contemplate taking that right leg, the outside leg, and crossing it over at the ankle. And again, whenever we add on to a pose, you're always checking in and asking, is this right for my body? Again, continuing to breathe and relax. And you're going to uncross those legs, walk your legs and arms back to the center, bring your arms down to the sides. Pause for a moment, notice how you're feeling in your body. And one more time, you're gonna find that block or whatever you used between your knees earlier on in the practice. So again, we have our feet pressing into the ground and you have your knees pressing into the center, holding on to that block. And now the movement is, I want you to relax your body on the ground, feel yourself supported, and we're going to press in as you exhale. So you're going to inhale, you're still holding onto the block, but as you exhale, you're going to press those knees in towards the center, squeezing that block or whatever you put between your knees. Inhale, relax, exhale, engage those knees and resist. Press into the block. So just moving with your breath, squeezing that block and noticing how it feels and not doing too much. And then after your next inhale, we're going to pause for a moment. Arms are down at the sides. And again, you're going to press your feet into the ground and possibly lift your hips up off the ground. So feet into the ground, knees into the block. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, come down to the ground. Not going for height here, going for movement. Just breathing and moving. And next time you exhale and your hips are on the ground, we're going to take the block up. You're going to hold on to it because one at a time, you're going to lift your knees off the ground or your feet off the ground. And you're going to then place the block in between your knees again. So now your lower legs are parallel with the floor and you're squeezing the block with your knees. So again, inhale, knees are still holding the block, exhale, squeeze into the center. Noticing what's happening in your body, in your low back, in your breath as you do this movement. And you take a break whenever you need to. Okay, the last thing we're going to do with the block here is you might have your arms out to the sides. We're holding on to the block with our knees. Inhale, as you're holding on to the block in the center. Exhale, you're going to reach those knees, again, little tiny bit over to the side, slightly at an angle. Inhale, center, exhale, alternate sides. So teeny tiny movements. I mean, some of you might want to make the movements bigger, but you're only working in a way that feels really good in your body, which means you may still just be squeezing the block, or you might add in a little tiny twist. Now, when you come back to the center after your second side, we're going to take that block out and squeeze those knees in towards your chest. You might do some circles with your knees, or you might just hold on to them, but you're really checking in with how that low back feels. Now, for our Shavasana, you may have a favorite pose that you like to do, and I'm going to invite you to get into that if you do like that. But I want to show you some other options that I'm thinking of, especially some of my favorites for low back pain. So if you have a chair or a sofa or a bed close by, you might choose to put your lower legs up onto whatever that is and do your Shavasana with your legs elevated in this manner. Of course, always making sure that you're warm and you're comfortable because we're moving into Shavasana. You also, I just happen to have a wall right here. You might take your legs up the wall, making sure that you're not too close to the wall because we don't want this to be, a back of the leg stretch. And another option might be if you have a bolster or some rolled blankets, you might just place your legs, pull the bolster or blankets all the way up to your buttocks and place your legs onto that. And some people like to wrap a strap around their lower legs. So you might notice that all of the positions I chose for you today, your legs are somewhat elevated. So if that sounds good to you, I want you to find a position like that that works for your body. And if you have another favorite position to be in for Shavasana, then I want you to get yourself into that position. So you're going to get yourself comfortable. I'm just putting on some things so that I can be warm. But you're going to get yourself comfortable and allow yourself to be supported by the ground underneath you or the chair or whatever it is that you're using to support your legs if you've chosen that. And as you settle in, allowing the body to soften, the breath to soften, and anything that's no longer serving you in your body or your mind or in your life, I want you to breathe that out. Let it dissipate into the air. Softening, softening, softening. Asatuma Satgamaya Om Tamasoya Jyotirgamaya Om Mrityurma Amritam Gamaya And I realize that some of you might like to stay in your Shavasana longer, and I invite you to do that. You can stay as long as you'd like. And I invite you to come back to parts of the recording that spoke to your body. If there were any that really felt good, you can always just do that section repeatedly, because movement, as long as you're not in acute pain, a little bit of movement can be extremely helpful, right? When we stop moving, then we stop moving. But it's also important not to aggravate anything that's going on in your body. So, for those of you who are ready to start to move and to come to a seated position, I invite you to do so very slowly, paying attention to what's happening in your body. And then, because I wanted today to be a very nourishing practice, so I'm hoping that's how you're all feeling. Placing one hand on your chest and one hand on the lower part of your body. And just breathing into your hands with your whole body so we can strengthen our core using our breath. In fact, that's one of the things that we do regularly, where we can just enhance how we're breathing to help utilize the full um, the whole core, from the diaphragm down to the pelvic floor, without adding in a whole lot of effort, and using the hands as touch points to make sure that as you're breathing, you're using your whole body. So can you feel that movement just above the pubic bone in your pinky as you're breathing? Can you feel the movement up to your clavicle with your index finger? Long, smooth, gentle breaths. And I thought, so you can continue breathing in that manner. I thought for our closing chant that we would just do a chant of peace for each of us on the planet, and no matter what's happening in our lives, we're all affected by what happens to one another. And so that chant is just Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. And so you can say it with me or listen. So a nice big inhale. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. And it means peace, 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 peace to me, peace to the planet and all the beings on it, and peace to all living beings everywhere. And I want to thank all of you for being here, and thank all of my teachers, past and present. And I'm grateful for the lands that I live and work on. And I hope you all have a lovely day. Namaste.